Hello, guys and gals, me Mudahar, and welcome to another episode of Deep Web Browsing, Dark Web Browsing, and Dank Web Browsing. I know I missed last week, but ladies and gentlemen, here I am with 1 week to capstone it all off. I have the daytime, ladies and gentlemen. Christ, it's burning my skin. But let's get right into our very first website. Is it going to be random? Absolutely. You know the drill by now. Let's dive into what we got for this week. Whoa, holy, oh my God, I'm using a vintage version of Linux. Okay, let's just get rid of that. Jesus Christ. Flat Earth 101. One believes things because one has been conditioned to believe them. Aldous Huxley. This is dedicated to you, Rob. All right, one of my good friends. But let's get into this real quick. So, I don't want to start a turf war in the comment section below, okay? I'll make another Flat Earth video, don't get me wrong, because it's a topic that is meant to be discussed. But yeah, so Flat Earth, for those of you who don't know, are people who believe that the Earth is not a globe, it's more of a flat plane, right? Whatever you believe, it's all up to you, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, it's your world and I'm just living in it, like a good friend of mine once says. And the reality is, man, if the Earth is really flat, then I guess I'll believe it if you can give me substantially proper proof. But let's get into it. So Flat Earth 101 is dedicated to unmasking the truth that the world is flat. Now, by the way, if a yacht was upside down like that, it should be wild. That basically means Australia is upside down. Okay. All right. I guess that explained why things were all backwards when I was in like Australia. That was a fun time. I got to go back there at some point. Gravity hoax. Oh, okay. All right. Gravity hoax, boys. Let's open that page up. Jesus. God damn, dude. Why? 21 questions. Fact, theory. Ooh, Jesus Christ. I'm just kind of allergic to nonsense. 200 proofs that the Earth is not a spinning ball. Yeah, 200 proof. Space is a hoax. We've all been living on a giant space ball of water because we've seen the evidence from NASA. It's time to take a step back and do some critical thinking. That I can kind of think about too, to be honest. Like, I mean, when you get into the conspiracies like the moon landing and shit, yeah, the reality is people can sit there and say, was the moon landing real or not? I'm one of those people that thinks being the most powerful country in the world, the United States, they probably could land on the moon. But at the same time, I feel like even if it's just like a dick swinging contest, it feels out of place. I don't know. There's a lot of conspiracies tying into that for whatever reason. I'm going to kind of go with the fact that there probably was a moon landing. You know what I mean? Like, they're pretty committed to it. And I don't know, if anybody's going to do a moon landing, it's probably the United States of America, right? I mean, who else really? The Russian Federation, the Chinese are really going to pull it off. But it's weird because nowadays you start to look at it and like now like space programs from a lot of these big countries are really emerging, right? Like, what are they saying? Like, India's about to go to Mars in like 2030 or some shit like that, 2040 or whatever. I mean, if they do that, whatever. Time will tell with the Indian continent, that's for sure. And the United States is going back there. Like, now we got these private enterprises. Russian Federation is now, but like, I think the Russians have always had a pretty, they do half the ISS pretty much. So they have an active space program. The Chinese have been doing it on their own. So now that we're starting to do it, it's kind of weird that we did it so well back in the day. And now we're starting, it's like a weird fucking, like, woo, we're at the peak, down, and then now we're going slowly up, I guess, towards the peak, maybe, if that makes any sense. So let's go around over here. They got a whole website dedicated to the Earth being flat, okay? Are you a Flat Earth graduate? Oh, am I? Oh, do I have a degree in Flat Earth? Well, let's find out. All right, let's go look around a bit of the, I guess the Earth's so fucking flat it crashed the browser. Don't do this. Don't fucking do this to me, baby. Come on. It didn't crash, did it? All right, I fixed it. God bless Linux when it comes to it. Christ, Flat Earth is destroying it. So here's the Flat Earth. Sir Isaac Newton, gravity doesn't exist. If you fill a balloon with helium, a substance lighter than nitrogen, oxygen, and other elements, which compose the air around it, the balloon will immediately fly upwards. If you fill a balloon with hydrogen, a substance even lighter than helium, then it'll fly upwards even faster. If you blow a dandelion seed out of your hand, a substance just barely heavier than air, it will float away but eventually slowly fall to the ground. If you drop an anvil from your hand, something much heavier than the air, it will quickly and directly fall straight to the ground. Now, this has nothing to do with gravity. It's the fact that light things rise up and heavy things fall down. It's simply a natural property of weight. So basically the concept is if something like gas in air is lighter than air, it's less dense, it'll float to the top. So it's kind of like why it would be ideal to always set up your computer room in the basement because heat rises to the top. So you could set up in the basement and have cooler temperatures versus setting it in the second floor like a dumbass like me and have like a completely hot system, if you know what I mean. So the concept is, solid objects which are heavier than air will fall down on the ground and gas will rise up, which, I guess it's a fair way to look at it, but I don't know. I think gravity is kind of explained with the whole idea of centrifugal mass and everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like with the rotation of the Earth, the amount of mass, like there's a gravitational field. That whole thing that got proven. But I feel like it's almost like rejection of common day beliefs. Because of some form. And you know what the reality is, man, like gravity, I'm sorry, but there's like mathematical, there's like, physical proof of it. Well, physical proof, there's like, actual like proofs written down. And yeah, you could say that the math is a conspiracy too, but at the end of the day, we gotta relax for a second. But they're really going on about how gravity is not a fucking theory. Like, Jesus Christ, they're straight ripping on our boys in the good old fashioned world of they are ripping on the world of science right now. All these motherfuckers sitting down. And they're pretty serious about it. All these people in the ISS, obviously faking it. Obviously, it's all a government plant, right? Oh, I just want to see what flat Earth maps lead me to. New standard map of the world. Okay, so that's actually a map that if you look at the UN map, it's similar to that. A lot of people say that it's a conspiracy because the UN map looks similar to the flat Earth model map, which I guess it makes fine good sense. But yeah, these are maps of the flat Earth. Okay, the Earth pond. The water that surrounds us, water walls, and all that kind of good stuff. Hammond's map, all of that shit. And like at the end of the day, man, I'm telling you, if the flat Earth gets a proof to it, I would be the first one to sit over here and say I'm a flat earthist. Because at the end of the day, man, it's better to be on the side of fact than it is to be on the side of emotion. And if I sound sociopathic, I don't mean it to be. I'm just saying that the idea of, if this was proven, I would have no concern being a flat earthist. If this had the proof to it, I'd be a flat earthist any day. So I'm not going to sit, and I've seen this photo a billion times, like this whole camera where like the horizon's flat. Because the Earth is so fucking big, guys. Let's be real about it. Come on now. Come on. But yeah, that's kind of what we got, ladies and gentlemen, over here. That's really what we're given. And you know what? God bless, I must say. All right, they've got 200 proofs, tons of proofs, tons of proofs about how the Earth is flat. And you know what? I'll just be the one to say it. God bless them. God bless them at this point. At some point, what I got to do for a YouTube video is get a weather balloon and just like send a camera up there. And if I see curvature, I'm going to calls it like I sees it. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, until then, I'm going to back out and go somewhere else. Oh, hell yeah. I love me a 4chan story. Muda's always been a fucking Chan lurker. So if you ever wanted to know why I am like a % toxic sometimes, because I browsed that good old Chan life back in the day, you know what I mean? /x/ that was a /x. God, I have become fucking super normie over the years. Jesus. X. B, unfortunately. Pol. God damn, 4chan was great. But anyway, I feel like that's going to bite me in the ass, that statement. But, I had a good time, all right? I had an all right time. Anyways, though, but the beautiful thing about the Chan boards and Chan culture is coming across these stories, this green text sometimes. Well, this isn't green text, but let's go in here. So OP posts something, and he gives like an image board. Let me just look it over real quick. It's just travel photos, but let's go read it. Why is this on the dark web? I have a story to tell. It takes place when I'm alone in the Ruby Mountains, past Soldier Lake, and up the pass near Hidden Lake. I was alone on this trip. Though I'd been there before, I carried a Glock 19 with 2 spare mags, as a traveler should. Only the first mag had gold dots, and the others were FMJ, Full Metal Jackets, for those of you who don't know. I figured that would be cheaper, and I would not need 60 rounds of ammunition for anything. Bro, have you seen a fucking bear up there? It's gonna take exactly like 60 rounds to do in a fucking bear with a Glock, brother. If I wanted to shoot, I did not want to waste my defensive ammo. This was a nice hike. It takes about 4 hours to get in, and when you get up, it's a nice plains with nice place with plains and prairie. The top's surrounded by mountains. I took lots of pictures during the first day, and I will post them as I go along. I have to resize them as I'm typing to go along, so be patient. Now we can't really resize, but I mean, that looks like a pretty waterfall, if you can tell. It's a nice looking waterfall. Yeah, I tap that. Then you've got rocks on the ground, God bless. For those of you who don't know, Hidden Lake gets its name from the fact that it's up on a ridge and can be seen from the trails. It's a great camping fishing spot, and the view is awesome. To get there, you hike up to the Soldier Pass Trail and turn at the stick in the ground. It was a hot day, but I decided to shoot up the trail for a 4-day weekend. I got to the top in about 3.5 hours or so. Still made pretty good time. I set up camp, which was just a pup tent, and set about making dinner. I gotten stuck in Elko for the first part of the day, fist part by the way, and when I had finished making the climb, it was starting to get late. I cooked dinner on the fire and crashed hard. The first couple nights pass without anything unusual happening. Spent the day sticking around, hiking, fishing, and relaxing. Things begin late in the night Saturday. So this is what it is. So he's got like this little rock, I guess, grave looking thing or something of the sort. And then you've got oh, that is beautiful. Plains with like a little pond. Dude, I would kill to be in that situation. Jeez, it's so fucking serene. Saturday, I was sitting at the lake's ridge, making my way over to the spring to refill my water bottle. The water here is glass clear, but everything gets the pills just in case, absolutely. As I'm walking, I hear this godforsaken sound like dragging metal on cement, just painfully loud and uncomfortable. I looked around, but I could see no source. At this time, all the bugs and birds stopped making noise. There's always this background noise, right? You don't notice it, but it's there. And I think that was the only time I was ever aware of it, because it all stopped. All I could hear was a spring and my own breathing. I don't think I have ever felt that alone in my entire life. I would have killed to be able to hear the sound of a car engine or a horn or people talking. Anything but the silence. I was on the far side of the lake near the snow outcrop in the picture when this happened. A good 10-15 minute walk back if you were in a hurry. I filled my water bottle up and headed back. The sounds of animals returned. And then when he came back, everything was scattered everywhere and it felt like a bomb had gone off. Everything was broken or rendered useless. Bro, you got a bear coming up, dude. That's scary. That's like a bear or like a predator looking around, you know what I mean? Like I've been in that kind of a situation because in Canada what you can do is you can go out like winter camping and stuff like that. And if you go really far up north, like we're talking really far, especially if you're in like BC, like British Columbia on the other coast, you're kind of in a place where there's fucking mountain lions and shit like that. And that's not where you want to be at all. Where I'm at, like if you go up north, expect like polar bears, like fucking just coming down, polars or grizzlies. But actually, you know, you get to the point where it's not so much polar bears where I'm at, because you have to go really far up north. Like you have to go fucking just, you have to go up to the territories. But you're talking about like bears and predators, pretty apex common things when you go on a winter camping. But it is what it is, you know. You have a car, leave it unlocked, hide in that shit when you need to, and dip if you have to. But let's go look into it. So more and more, the sun's going down, and this dude's got some crazy shit going around. I stopped being nervous and started being pissed. I figured some kids have done it. Kind of far out there for kids to be doing it, but sure. Then he goes and finds a ferry hole, which is a natural hole in rock along one of the ridges, and decided I would relocate my camp there. I got the fire burning again. And stuff that was unrepairable or useless, I burned to save weight. As I went around cleaning up, I got this feeling, and I'm not sure how to describe it, like if you walked into someone's house without them being home. Like they did not know you were there, like you should not be there. But that is inadequate wording. I was getting nervous, and I hurried up to the ridge, and that's when I saw it, a dark mass moving alongside the edge of the lake. Too far away to make out any details, but as I watched, I saw that it was following the same path that I had taken. It was thin though, long and thin and dark. Now I took the simplest path, so made it was just following that. But I feel that it was tracking me. You're getting tracked, dude, run the fuck away. Now, what happened is, they're getting unhinged when they saw it. I've been hunted by a mountain lion before, and the feeling I had then was just that, hunted. I was being stalked, but in a way we were equals. Both cats and I are apex predators, and the tides could easily turn. You got a Glock, my guy, okay? If the fucking mountain lion comes up to you, you better be ready for that shot. A couple of good shots in that thing, and no lion's gonna be fucking with you, that's for sure. But anyways, the thought of killing it left my mind. I just wanted to run and hide. Run as fast as I could. I was prey. I could do nothing to this thing. You have a gun! All right, Jesus, my gun that on the way up had made me feel so big felt like a toy. It moved between moving on 4 feet and 2. I hurried up the slope and threw my stuff in the hole and used rocks and broken tent stakes to barricade one end of it. The side that ended in a drop-off, and I pulled rocks and other debris to the other side. I curled up in a ball and lodged myself in the hole, clutching my pistol in one hand and a pocket knife in the other. Whew! All right. Okay. We just witnessed a chance story of this dude getting hunted. And then last bit, I had heard something get on the slow start squeaking around, and the squeak missed with a hiss. Though the few holes I had left, I could see flashes of dark matted fur. It had small dark eyes, thin long snout, almost badger-like tapered. I could not breathe. Whew! Bro, you got some crazy animal coming around. Now, no epic combat ending, kind of cucking me, just me hiding. I don't know those mountains anymore. I don't know what lurks up there. It's just thin passes. And that's it. So they come back to the ground. They give us a nice little scenery of the plains, and that's about it. So, yeah, we just witnessed a story of somebody that almost got eaten alive up in the mountains. And, yeah, that's a pretty common fucking occurrence if you're going up into the mountains, ladies and gentlemen. Just be knowing of that. If you ever go camping and you come across shit like that, see, you know what? Go with friends. Get more the merrier. Bring a friend with you. You definitely got that friend who would like to go up to the mountains. I'll go up to the mountains with you. Just don't go alone. Just don't. And if you do go alone, make sure you know how to take care of yourself. Don't just do this. Though it was a good idea in quick defense. But anyways, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the next website. Okay, Dragon's Touch, Weaknesses of the Human Anatomy. All right, so this is our edgy text of the day, okay? So I might have to say for legal sake, don't actually do anything recommended in this, by the way, okay? Don't follow it. Simple as that. Now that I've legally covered myself, we can do things like all good boys and view this webpage, all right, now that we've all been legally debriefed. This volume and the ones to follow concentrate on the 43 major pressure points of the body. Of course, there are quite a few more, but these are the basics. All of the points are classified into two categories. All right, so you got a numerical and you've got an alphabetical. So number one is the brain and skull. Number two is the sense organs. Then you got the life support, cardiorespiratory, major organs and tracts, muscular function, the nerves, mechanical function, skeletal, cartilage, and joints. And then you've got alphabetical, which is immobility from pain, immobility from structural organic damage, unconsciousness from nerve, death from physiological damage. This is what like every like 12-year-old kid who wants to be fucking John Wick in the future reads like religiously. It's like a fucking Bible for them. The ventral transverse plane consists of, don't be John Wick in the future. Being a hitman is illegal. I gotta say all this, man. YouTube's a fucking crazy place. Consists of the face, the front, top, and sides of the head, the neck, the upper torso, including the collarbone. There are 15 pressure points. All right, let's learn some. Coronal suture, trigeminal nerve and frontal bone, temple and fossa temporalis, eyes, ears, mastoid, septal cartilage, anterior nasal spine, temporomandibular joints, okay, get out of my face, Microsoft Xbox connection, tip of mandible, sternocleidomastoid region, anterior neck region, brachial plexus and trapezius muscle, suprasternal notch, and clavicle. What the fuck you looking at me for? Just because I'm Indian, you think I know half these terms? Hell, my dad does. Me, though, probably recognize a good chunk of them. You know, you could probably figure out certain locations, right? This region, so number one, so they actually like detail for you, right? Like a coronal suture. So this region lays on top of the head. And more so the forehead. Yeah, the soft spot for babies, isn't it like right here and shit? Oh, that's so weird. I mean, I've held babies that heads felt like Swiss cheese and stuff. Like you're not supposed to push down on it. And I've never did. Like, don't fucking assume that I did. No, I didn't. But like, it's kind of weird, ain't it? Like, I weird, like just depression in their head. It's because their skull is forming, right? Like, the more you learn, you might hate me, but sometimes you learn shit. So number two, all right, the trigeminal nerve, all right, is located just below the centermost point of the forehead, the nerve on the outside of the skull. Yeah, that's when if you hit somebody right there, they're fucking dead. You know, like if you just hit them right in the temple, they're gone. Let's go through the temple, blah, blah, blah. Oh, so the eyes. Okay, the eyes are very sensitive, even to the lightest touch. They're held in by fascia bulbi, a soft membrane, and eye muscles. Did not easy to pop. Oh, God. Oh, that reminds me of the video where it's like, I think it's this black guy or something, like this larger, portlier black dude, who like, I think it was a Guinness Book of World Records, like they popped out their eyeballs completely, like at command. Ugh. Look, it's cool you could do that, but oh God, that's so weird. Ugh, I can't do it. Okay, so number 5, these are located on each side of the head. Yeah, I know about that. You punch somebody like this, they're gone. Number 6, the mastoid is located directly behind the earlobe. Oh, this part, oh, dude, thinking about it, it like kind of hurts, you know what I mean? Like you can look at some dude get like his nuts punched in, and it hurts to watch, you know, like it's just like a nerve reaction, you know, like you see somebody get hit like that in a place and your body just like responds like it got hit. Christ, dude. Now, the septal cartilage that makes up the nose, oh, no, dude, okay, this whole section is going to be me reminiscing about like just, oh, so there used to be this kid in high school, right, who like fucking taught me about like the weirdest things. Like he's like, one day he was talking about going to fucking prison and like if you go to prison, find the toughest guy you can and like beat him. And like then you survive, which is a fucking stupid thing to do, by the way. Like if you ever end up in a federal penitentiary, don't beat up the biggest guy because yeah, you might look like the crazy son of a bitch, and that's fine and dandy until he shanks you in the shower, okay? Like the prison, because prisons are run by gangs, you know, kids and adults. And if you ever go to one, it's not a free for all battle royale. People are quadded up. Like there's like a 50v100 going on sometimes, vice versa. Like you just don't do it. So, anyways, he was telling me like this thing called like a Scottish like face palm or some shit like that, where you like take the base of your palm in a fight and just jam it right the nose, and like because it's so soft, you can jam it right into like the dude's like head and brain, and it's enough to like completely kill a dude. Oh God, dude, this is a tough document to sit through, dude. Like I can sit through a lot of things like Goatsy, you know what I mean? But this, ooh, this is a tough one, dude. It's a tough one. Then they've got the windpipe or throat, which you can definitely kill somebody by doing it. So a lot of these locations are basic points of, ooh, what's the A pop in? Oh, it's just the Manjaro system. But yeah, a lot of these systems are interesting because like it just shows you weaknesses of the human body that you should kind of already know to an extent, right? Which I guess if you were like a special ops agent or something, like a spy, and you were like trained hand to hand, this is probably the shit you know by heart. And it's probably the stuff you live by. Because I guess if you were in like a street fight or something, not that you should ever be one, right? I guess if the point of self defense came up, right? Like where you had to defend your life, these are the kind of weaknesses you should know. Like you'll probably end up killing the dude attacking you, but it's a lot better than ending up dead yourself, right? Not that I would say you ever do that. Absolutely not endorse it. No promotion of anything like that. But the thing is, like, this is the kind of stuff that most people who are into like hand-to-hand situations probably understand very well. And it's one of those things where, like, if you watch an action movie, you kind of wonder why they don't pull half the stuff off. Like, I feel as though if everyone tried doing that, you know, it'd be a more fair fight if that was to happen. But yeah, interesting document. You know, it's not like the one where we were fucking dogs 2 weeks ago or anything. God, oh, gee, dude, who fucks their dog? Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5. Strikes to the groin. Oh, yeah? Just strikes to the dick? Oh, shit. Why did I have a little fucking high school thing when I said dick? God, I'm a child. But yeah, interesting. If we find any of these Part 2, 3, 4, and 5s, I'll definitely have to read them. But anyways, let's get out of the self-defense hellhole and go somewhere else. Are you living in a computer simulation? This is by the Oxford University, by the way, so you know it's some fucking legitimately good, juicy shit. But this is actually a conspiracy theory that I actually believe in. Like, I think that we do live in a computer simulation. I think the idea of a matrix is a reality. You know, if you look at things like video games, right, how we design these worlds that look so real now, you know, with their own lives in it, I would say that given enough processing power, we'd probably be living in a simulation too. We probably could, if we can make it one day, I'm sure we are a simulation. But let's go into it. So the paper argues that at least one of the following propositions is true. The human species is very likely to go extinct before reaching a post-human stage. Absolutely. Have you seen how psychotic human beings are? I give us like 60 years. Any post-human civilization is extremely unlikely to run a significant number of simulations in their evolutionary history. And then 3, we are almost certainly living in a computer simulation. It follows with the belief that there is a significant chance that we will one day become post-humans who run ancestor simulations is false, unless we're currently living in a simulation. So the idea is because if we can make it one day, which we absolutely could, like we're working on artificial intelligence now, and you know it's the early stages, but you know we're getting there. And if we can do it, then there's no reason to doubt that it cannot be done to us. But anyways, many works of science fictions, as well as some forecasts by serious technologists and futurologists, that's a fucking hell of a title, predict that enormous amounts of computing power will be available in the future. Let us suppose for a moment that these predictions are correct. One thing that later generations might do with their super powerful computers is run detailed simulations of their forebears, or of people like their forebears. Because the computers would be so powerful, they could run a great many such simulations. Suppose that these simulated people are conscious, as they would be if the simulations were sufficiently fine-grained, and if a certain quite widely accepted position in the philosophy is mind is correct, then it would be the case that the vast majority of minds like ours do not belong to the original race, but rather to people simulated by biological ones. I mean, I guess if you took things like religion, right? And I don't want anything to get into a turf war, but if you look at the idea where one of the tenets of religion is that human beings were made in the image of God, who's to say that if you go up into the simulation, right, like above us, like one level above us, assume the fact that we are a simulation, right? That means we're a virtual machine. And if we move above into the real world or the world above us, because who's to say they're not even in a simulation, but you go up one stage above, and they look just like us. They're human beings. Like they have created us in an image of themselves. If we were to make simulations, we wouldn't just make fucking gray aliens from like conspiracy theory movies. We'd probably just resemble us as human beings and see how we would work. But yeah, the assumption of substrate independence. A common assumption in the philosophy is the mind as substrate independence, the idea that the mental state can supervene on any of the broad class of physical substrates. Providing a simple system implements the right sort of computational structures and processes. It can be associated with conscious experiences. It is not an essential property of consciousness that is implemented on carbon-based biological neural networks. Inside a cranium, silicone-based processors inside a computer could in principle do the trick as well. Arguments for the thesis have been given in the literature, and although it is not entirely unconventional, we shall here take it as a given. The argument we shall present does not, however, depend on very strong version of functionalism or computationalism. For example, we need not assume that the thesis of substrate independence is necessarily true, either analytically or metaphysically, just that in fact a computer running a suitable program would be conscious. So what, it's like if you just let a computer run on a loop, you know what I mean? Like you gave it a loop argument, would it technically be conscious because it's just doing processing cycles the entire time? Well, if AI can think for itself, does it just become I mean, if the AI passes the Turing test, right? The concept of it is, and it behaves like a human being, right? Like one day AI will, then it's conscious. I would probably say an AI is alive if it passes the Turing test and it can think for itself. Like if an AI has a consciousness, right? Like the ability, I feel if an AI can tell right from wrong with feelings inserted between that, not just, raw analysis, then I think it's past the bar for human being, right? Because that is in essence what humanity really is. So I think if you have that, then a computer becomes human, and at that point you've pretty much reached the apex of technology. But at our current stage of technological development, we don't have powerful hardware nor the requisite software to create conscious minds in computers. We don't. We're still working on AI software, and while our hardware is increasing year on end, I would say we're still a long ways away from processing jack shit on CPUs nowadays. Like, in order to talk about stuff right here, and not even the best supercomputers could relatively pull off in today's day and age. But let's go down over here. Some authors argue that the stage may only be a few decades away. Very true. It could be like 20, 30 years away before we have the software to and the hardware. The biggest thing is the software. Like, if we can create software to properly implement us, it's just a matter of having hardware. And I think by that point, because we'll have the software, we'll also have the hardware. But it's not like it's fucking Crysis, you know what I mean? Like a game you can make that's supposed to be played 5 years later. But let's go down over here. Yeah, so the idea over here is that they're talking about the amount of processing power you would need to resemble one human being, things like that. And then they've got mathematical equations going around over here, which a lot of thought and effort has been put into this situation. A lot of thought has been put into this theory, and it's a theory that I can 100% kind of get behind, to be honest with you. But let's go down over here. It may be possible for simulated civilizations to become post-human, where they then run their own ancestor simulations. Like I said earlier, on powerful computers they build in a simulated universe. Such computers would be virtual machines, a familiar concept in computer science. Yeah, so you remember when we made that virus investigations video where I told you about nesting VMs? Where if you wanted to, you could actually stack a virtual machine inside a virtual machine, so that if one virtual machine tried to VM escape, big fucking deal, your virtual machine escaped into a virtual machine hypervisor that was a lot more secure than what you tried to escape. You get what I'm trying to say? Like if I ran a KVM QEMU rig, this might be flying over some people's head. You could effectively make it bare metal, and then you could run virtual machines within it, and then also within that virtual, you could have you could have how many layers of virtual machines going inside. So that whole concept I can definitely understand, and it's interesting because when you take this idea and you look at computer science and where we're at, it mixes so well with the reality argument that I think we are a simulation. But you know what? I know what we're also doing, and the simulation is making the draw call for me to stop and go right to the next website. Oh, hell yeah! 28DL Urban Exploration, 28 days later.co.uk. So I'm glad that we got linked over here. That's honestly great. But let me just take that F5 to refresh the page. But here, oh, free Google Mini, my asshole. UE site report. So this is a website all dedicated to urban exploration. So for those of you who don't know what urban exploration is the hobby where you explore abandoned locations in the world. One of the most infamous ones was the exploration of like Disney's Lost Lake Disneyland, which I believe if you go to, Disney will actually like, you know, send the lawsuits after you, which I guess is a rightful thing to say, right? Because it is their property and all that stuff. You are trespassing. But yeah, urban exploration is basically going to all these abandoned locations, places that nature is taking over, and overseeing it and exploring it, and just sort of seeing what you can. But let's go look around. Noteworthy reports: asylums and hospitals, military sites. So they got everything sort of divided up. Let's go to underground sites, because those are always fucking creepy, and call it what we have. So over here they also have things where you can buy equipment and like look for items that people would buy when they're urban exploring, which we'll look at in a bit. So let's look at some noteworthy reports. Looking back at the West Park Mental Hospital, the Burj Dubai to April 2008. So wait, Burj? You mean the Burj Khalifa? Is that what it is? Oh wow, they're actually exploring aspects of it. The Burj Khalifa. Wait, so what are they supposed to be doing? Did they break in from it or something? The view from the top was simply breathtaking. Below me, 60 to 70-story skyscrapers looked so very small, and the noise of the busy city below me was just a very faint sound next to the howling wind. The 6-lane highway looked like a small dirt road, and the cars on it, yeah, okay, yeah, obviously when you're up in the Burj Khalifa, right, which what is the biggest skyscraper in the world right now? I think it's the biggest, and the second one is in like fucking Malaysia or something. I guarantee you because I think the Burj Khalifa is the tower where is it Burj Khalifa or Burj Al Arab or something like that. Whatever it is, it's a tower that you can I think see from the ISS. It's so fucking big. But yeah, that's it's interesting. They actually went over there and like I guess broke in or something. Maybe I think. I think. I mean, if you break into the 155th floor, I'm sorry, I couldn't even look out the window for that. I have a terrible fear of heights. It's too much. But then you go to asylums and hospitals, and I guess this is interesting. Let's open up Mid Wales Hospital. So here's a hospital in Mid Wales. All right, this looks like a very, very old hospital, obviously, because it's fucking abandoned. You can see that with the nature coming back in. Yeah, things are getting taken over. Definitely recommend visiting this place if you get the chance, but we are Derek and his severe lack of a social life. I'll be making a second trip to Talgar to make sure to redeem this minimal report. So they explored and they gave us photos. It's kind of what you got over here. And if you enjoy games like Outlast, I guess visiting this place at night might be your wet fucking dream. I gotta tell you though, even visiting this place in the daytime gives me the creeps. I'm sorry, just hospitals are weird to me in general, and like abandoned hospitals are just like a layer to hell. Military sites. Okay, military sites. Let's go check out some fucking military sites while we're at it. Military Air Base, Lake Balaton, Hungary. All right, I haven't seen a European military base, but I have, but I haven't seen a Hungarian one. So this is a Hungarian military base. And I guess it's from, 1940s. It was paved in the 1950s, and it was an airport in the 1960s. So this is a Soviet era military base. And I think we've already seen a bunch of those just like actively in North Korea right now because their shit is so like Soviet era. So you can kind of get like a real world, like current day example of what they would be like over there in real life. But this is what Soviet era bases look like back in the day. So they've got sort of that same colored design. Graffiti tossed in over here in Hungarian, I would say. And then, yeah, this place is just getting fucking decrepit, dude. Things are breaking down. Oh my lord. You know, it's weird that they show these places in the day and they seem super somber and like just quiet. And then you go here at night and it's just a fucking just a fearful place. Now this is the interesting part, underground sites. Let's go open up Boston Underground War Tunnels. Let's go see the Bitston. Okay, I'm an idiot. So, no, 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 no. If I saw something like this, you bet your ass I'd never go there, okay? I don't like underground. I don't. That shit's freaky. Let's go down over here and go through real quick. Just your graffiti looking down, and then you're peeking down over here. See, like, if you see shit like this, and you see stuff that resembles footsteps up there, this is not the place you want to be, alright? I'm sorry. It's weird. And is that a Bluetooth logo? Is graffiti? That's kind of edgy and cool. Fuck you. Look at that. That looks like somebody's there. If I walk into a tunnel and I shine my light on something that looks like that, I'm sorry. I am shitting myself. And I am running. And if you're next to me and that thing's there, I'm pushing you over, okay? If it's me and you, dude, that sounds messed up. I'm sorry. But that's scary. That's messed up, dude. And you keep scrolling down and down and down, and it's just more graffiti. Oh, fuck. That almost made my heart race a little bit. Fuck the dude who made that graffiti, by the way, because that's a dick move. Like, you turn around over there, dude, I'm passing out. I'm fainting if I see shit like that, dude. That looks like it's ready to fuck, bro. It's like it's fucking ready, dude. It's like getting hard and excited about that shit, bro. God damn. And then you keep going down more and more and more. It's already the graffiti up there again. It's like two people standing. Look at that. You can clearly it was two people standing. Oh my God. No way. No way, dude. I could never come down into a place like this. Whoever came down all the way here and did graffiti, you've got some balls. Because I'll tell you this, it's not that I'm scared of ghosts. It's like, I'm more scared of the idea that if you go down to a place like this, there's going to be a crackhead. And the crackhead's going to run up and like, you smash your face in with a bottle or some shit like that. Because that's kind of the experience you'd be getting anyways in the situation, right? But that is what it is with this area. You can keep scrolling down and get more into Bitston tunnels. But that is kind of what it is. And these guys really go in depth looking around. So interesting website if you're into that. And then you can go down over here. They've got things where you can go out and buy equipment like kit clothing equipment. And they share what they have. So Paris Catacombs packing list. Which there was a horror movie about that on Netflix, which was kind of an interesting watch, by the way. Check it out. I think it's So Above, Down Below or something. But yeah, big camera for quality. They're asking about equipment. This is just a community for people who are down here talking about, urban exploration, which I don't know what the laws of urban exploration are. I think there's trespassing laws, so I wouldn't do it if I were you. Definitely check or get a permit, really, because I think some places will offer a permit. Get a permit and explore places like this if that's sort of your thing. I would love to, at one day, do this kind of stuff. Maybe years down the road I would do it. Maybe I'd upload a video of it on my channel, honestly, or exploring some weird shit in Ontario with a friend of mine or something. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back out and go somewhere else. Whew. And ladies and gentlemen, that was another episode of Deep Web Browsing, Dark Web Browsing, Dank Web Browsing, the part of the week where I take a look at that danker side of the internet. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen some interesting stuff today. Flat Earthists, underground explorations. All right, we've also seen places about the human body that, I've learned, some people have learned. People who work as spies definitely know. But it's been an interesting week overall, ladies and gentlemen. I'm kind of happy how things turned out. But for now, thank you for showing up. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.